In this review we look at WSI's second model for Volvo construction equipment. It is the A60H, and on the box there's a few details about the real truck. And at the time of its introduction, this articulated hauler was rated as the largest of its kind in the world. The box has a nice picture of the real machine on the outside, and on the inside we find exactly what we expect. Factory sealed trays which after a bit of knife work can be opened up. And there's the model protected by some clear plastic. And as it turns out, there's no assembly to do on this model, and do you know why? Because it's complete. Out of the box. Starting underneath, the heavy axle frames are modelled well, and the drive shafts to each of the axles are included. The wheels are very detailed and the tyres look good, although they are perhaps a little bit on the shiny side. At the front there are see-through mesh grills. The lights are nicely detailed, as is the top of the engine cover. A particularly nice aspect is the metal handrails and mirror assembly, which also feel robust. Looking behind the cab there are hydraulic hoses which run to the dump bed rams. And another nice touch is the soft mud flaps on the dump bed, and also behind the front wheels. Also very good on this model are some of the very tiny graphics that can be found, and they add to the realism. At the back there are nice light clusters under the dump body, and there's also a red locking bar for the dump bed, but it's not functional. This model has a high metal content, so it's actually quite heavy, and that helps it to roll very smoothly. It steers by hydraulic rams operating across the pivot point, and that works very smoothly on the model with an excellent range of movement. So if we're driving the model we can turn a very tight corner, and if we want to show how stupid we are, we can drive it along inside tipping mode. But at least one thing this does show is how good the articulation is at the pivot point. Having demonstrated our absence of brain cells, we can move on and look at the suspension. And the rear axles have a very high degree of movement. So any load on the truck gets a nice smooth ride. But the model engineering of the rear axles is also very good because they are interlocked, so they oscillate together. One good test of an articulated dump truck model is the tipping angle. And on this model the rams have a good stiffness and will hold any pose, and the angle is very good even if it's not quite the 70 degrees of the real machine. Another very nice feature on this model is the opening engine cover, and you can see it's detailed underneath and that the grills are see-through, and the pull down section at the front also has a step which can be pulled down further. On the review model the hood would hold any pose that was set, but there's also a support bar on the model so you can prop the hood open if you wish. WSI models have made a very good job of the Volvo A60H. It has got some high detail and excellent functionality, but it's also heavy and feels very strong and robust. So overall this is another high quality Volvo model from WSI, and it's rated as excellent.